Warning. This is not your normal podcast. Its purpose is to provide thought-provoking dialogue with a slanted perspective. Here we encourage influential conversations. Give us a listen, like and share. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Welcome to CEO and the Doctor.
See on the Doctors, Season 3, Episode 10. Welcome, viewers, listeners. P, what's good, man?
3 motherfucking years.
3 motherfucking years. Yeah, that's right. Give us a little bit of... Yeah, man. 3 years we've been doing this show. Actually, our 3-year mark was last week, but we didn't get to do it due to the holidays, but we damn sure didn't forget about our 3-year mark. So appreciate everybody's been sticking around during this whole time. We've had all kind of situational issues, technical issues,
environmental issues. I mean, employment, name it.
You fucking name it.
Happened. So, but we have persevered, and we are still here, we are still evolving.
This is true. So yeah, man, we're a little bit behind time, so we're just gonna get right into the show today, man. So we'll start with the Flash. Cue us up here. In the Flash this week, we got a couple things. So I guess we could let's start with the positive shit first.
Yeah, definitely.
Positive shit first. So you said something that was very interesting. So there are a number of brilliant Black children that have been recognized as being like, super high IQ, and basically thought of as geniuses.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that's overlooked, man, because a lot of times things like that are stuff that we know or people we hear, the Stephen Hawkins of the world, the Albert Einsteins, like those are not minorities. Those are, white men and things like that. And so I guess sometimes we do not get acknowledged as being brilliant, but there's a lot of brilliance inside of us, man. So this article you sent, super interesting about these 3 children. One was as young as like 5 or 6 and taught herself how to read, and then there's others that are
Lana George.
There you go.
Yeah, she has an IQ of 140.
140, wow.
Yeah. 4 years old. She's obsessed with words and numbers. She taught herself how to read before starting school.
I mean, see, like stuff like that. That's crazily awesome. Like Jordy is learning to read. He actually knows how to read pretty well for his age and count and all that other stuff. So just watching him and his journey. But all that stuff, was things that were delivered by myself, his mother, his grandparents, his aunties and uncles. We all contributed to hear that this child taught herself how to read. That's a whole other feat. So that's awesome to hear that. And then we got one that's like he's already graduated college or something. I thought I read.
Ramarni Wolford, IQ score of 162, higher than Albert Einstein and Stephen Hawking. 16-year-old boys whose IQ is higher. Also, Bill Gates was only 10 when he wrote a paper on the philosophy of fairness.
Yeah, see, that stuff's amazing, man.
He's 10.
He's 10 years old.
Yeah.
So, like I would just say out there, man, like all of us are special and gifted in our own ways. But sometimes, we have children, we have family members, friends that are gifted in other ways, and that's just as important. We need to highlight that. Education is everything. They are the future, man. So
and I'll go one further. We need to nurture that, and I know that my upbringing, a lot of things were, no, you can't do that. 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 Kind of, we tend to plant seeds to and ultimately limit a lot of the people that we can influence. Excuse me, we need to remain aware of the lasting impact of telling a kid, no, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. Kid can do anything. He can do anything he want to do. And it's up to us as adults and especially as parents to encourage the potential greatness in our kids.
Yeah, man, that's 100. So the next moment in the flash, COVID, right? It's sad that this has been around now. We're in basically the 11th month, 12th. Some people say January. But I'm gonna count 11 since I kind of heard about it in February.
Yeah.
But there's still a lot of individuals who don't believe that it's real, don't believe that, it's something that we all need to be cautious of. And now it's starting to get to a point where it's more serious. And San Francisco, there were two individuals who were known to be positive. They knew that, and they still boarded a plane, potentially endangering everyone on the plane, because they were positive COVID carriers.
Yeah.
And thus they were arrested. And they were arrested because it's kind of one of those situations where the situation, but you choose to still, you choose to still do what you want to do, I guess, so to speak. And in doing that, you are endangering others. And San Francisco, I think they got arrested at San Francisco airport. Yeah, they were known to be positive carriers, and they got arrested. So look, this shit is not a game, man.
Joke,
like,
man. And people still want to minimize it and make it nothing. I'm still walking in the stores and people still don't have masks on. And it's absolutely ridiculous to me. It's a matter of, if you don't believe COVID exists, well on you, whatever. All right. The millions of people that have died worldwide, I don't know why that's not proof, but anyway. Look at that shit like wearing a seatbelt. I don't like wearing a seatbelt. Guess what? Put that motherfucker on, keep myself safe and person and everybody else around me safe.
True. I mean, that's as easy as you can break it down. So I'm guessing that this will be kind of more of something we probably hear more about. If you're endangering people purposely, that's probably going to be a situation that it might end up where you're arrested, or a steep fine is levied against you or something. But that was kind of eye-catching to me because, the whole time that this has been going on, we've been hearing people basically call it, the hoax virus and all this other stuff. And nothing has really been done toward anybody who has, I guess, expressed how they felt.
Right.
But in a situation where you're actually a carrier and now other people are being forced to be exposed to you because of your selfish choices, this was a situation where we finally seen some kind of action. So I'll be interested to see going forward how many more cases of arrest, or how many other topics how many more articles we read that say something along the lines of fines or arrests. So let me see what these individuals, see what their names were. Not that we're sitting here trying to find them or search for them, but
call them out.
But it's definitely wild. Let me see. Here it is, right here. So, oh man, he got my name. Wesley Moribi and Courtney Peterson knew they had tested positive when they boarded United Airlines flight from San Francisco to Louis. San Francisco international officials had instructed them to isolate and not to travel. They did it anyway. They were arrested on second-degree reckless endangerment charges. A family member took their son home, and Child Protective Services was notified.
Man.
Yeah. So
and just imagine,
there it is.
You got to take everybody that's on that plane and test them.
Now you do, yeah.
Yeah. Not to mention the people that it came in contact with throughout the airport, going through the gate and everything else. Yeah. I don't like TSA as much as nearly as much as anybody else. And TSA sucks. I ain't trying to kill the motherfuckers.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, man.
That's so dumb. People are stupid.
I mean, it's not something to chuckle about, but it kind of is, because this is, like you said, this is not something that even needs to even get this far.
Right.
But here we are still, man. So we can only, project that things will get better with vaccines, and that's a shaky comment or topic, so we won't even go there right now with this vaccine thing. But we can only hope that it can get better. But before it gets better, people got to get wiser. We got to get smarter, and we got to care about somebody.
Selfless.
Yeah,
gotta get a little bit more selfish, man. People are just inherently selfish. They want what they want when they want it. It sucks. But
all right, man. So we're gonna do something different this time. Let's go let's go news before we go Ask a Doctor. This news is funny. Very funny. So it is next gen season, right?
Yeah. And, man.
Everybody wants one, right? Everybody wants the next gen video game. I was lucky. I was able to find the Xbox Series X, but PS5. So we've been hearing about them for months now, and they finally released last month. So it's been a mad dash to get them whenever you can get them. So this is a funny story. Let me find Buddy. I think he was in Asia.
Yeah, he was in Asia.
All right. So this guy, man's failed attempt to trick his wife ended with him having to give up his brand new console, selling it for a cut price. All right. So this man basically bought a PS5, and if you've seen them, they're huge. They can be mistaken for a lot of things, and I can see how this could be mistaken for like what he told his wife was. So basically, he told his wife it was an air purifier, right? And it's big, and it kind of looks like one of those like Climacool type fan things. So it could be an air purifier if you don't know what you're looking for. But anyway, he was desperate to get one. So he told her it was one, but then a rat died inside of their house. Okay, I can't make this shit up. And the smell was unnerving, and because it was an air purifier, that's what he told her, there was still no change in the stench within the house. So she did some research, found out that this was not an air purifier. In fact, it was a PS5. Made him sell that shit. And then he actually had to sell it for less than what he bought it for. So fucking hilarious. Can't make this shit up.
Can't make it up. So I got one more in news.
Oh, do you? Go ahead.
Yeah. So you sent this one to me as well. The guy that's in Australia that fathered 23 children in a year.
And he broke the law, right? Because you can only
because they have population control. You can only have what is it? 1?
No, 10.
10.
You can contribute to 10 families to include
23
yourself.
Children in a year. Within a year, currently under investigation following a new 10 new family policies in sperm donor clinics.
So it doesn't go to say whether he was trying to get his chips up so you can donate sperm and get paid. It doesn't really talk about that. But I guess he feels that there is a lack of Asian culture in Australia.
Oh, so he populating that motherfucker by himself.
Yeah, and he believes in his genes. Buddy believes in his genes very strong.
Yes, he said his sperm is in high demand due to his ethnicity and the success rate.
Yeah, he's completely committed. He lives life of abstinence.
He's got the Gatling gun. Just
Man, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's one of those guys. I was a Genghis Khan. I believe I can't remember how many.
Did they say that every human on Earth now is a descendant in some way, shape, or form of Genghis Khan?
Some shit like that. I don't know. But basically, I mean,
our DNA, everybody's DNA.
Yeah. Maybe he's under that same pretense, but he definitely doesn't look like he's going to stop. So it doesn't go on to say he's going to
man, I don't know what
big trouble, but they are looking for him.
I don't know what kind of penalty they have. They neuter him. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but that's wild. So he pumping them out, man.
2 portions of news for you guys to sell this episode.
All right. So let's jump into now Ask the Doctor. This one's a little bit more serious.
Yeah.
So, all right, we kind of talked about it a little bit with coronavirus and all the other shit that's going on. But in all actuality, as we get into the holiday season, just had Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's is on the horizon. It's a lot of despair in the air. based on 2020. I
Yeah.
had a conversation with my wife. I've had other conversations with other individuals at work, and it just seems like a lot of people just can't really get themselves in the spirit of Christmas, the spirit of the holidays, because 2020 has been so rough. And it got me to thinking, man, like, we read, and I'm still reading, I got to finish it, but Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins, right?
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
it's a mindset
Yeah.
of him versus himself in that book. But I feel like COVID and 2020, all the negativity, the death of, Kobe Bryant and Chadwick Boseman and just tons of other people that were important to the, society and community. Like, it's so much, negativity that people are taking for granted that, I mean, unfortunately, we have lost a lot of people. Some
Yeah.
people have lost, individuals they love, loved ones to COVID and things like that. But we're still here.
Right.
And I used to gravitate to the negative Nancy, downer Debbie type shit, like, and not purposely, but it was easy for me to be like, well, it is gloomy outside, so I guess I should feel gloomy too.
Mhm.
But when you get through some shit, when you fight through some shit and you work on your mental health and you keep working on your mental health, like, you start to release that shit.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to grab anything positive out of everything all the time. That's kind of like the way I want to live my life. And so it got me thinking, like, there was positive shit that happened in 2020 personally,
Yeah.
and some shit that, maybe you don't agree with this, but some shit that happened, for our country. I feel like the change in guard, that was
Yeah.
huge for our country, but you
Yeah.
might not believe that. So I'm not trying to force that on you, but we'll just talk about personal goals,
Yeah.
right? So I'll start with you, P. In 2020, throughout all the bullshit, what was it what were you able to accomplish? What can you
So
take from it?
so with everything that happened prior to 2020, I learned to and try to live my life glass half full.
Right.
And also try to live on the premise that bad things happen to us to remind us that good things happen too. Because whenever something bad happens, man, look, I'm 52. Okay, I don't remember a year being worse than 2020. I don't. But that's to say that it feels like this year has been 52 years, you
Yeah.
know? And because we focus so much on things when they're bad things seem to last far longer than um, than they really do. In the grand scheme of time, a year is nothing,
True.
So get through this and you find your small wins, your small victories, your small goal sets, you meeting your small goals along the way. Yeah, 2020 fucking sucked, but I finished the book. Um, I started working on studying for law school. Um, started writing another book. Started working on my health. I wrote just before the show. I rode 16 miles. I rode 31 and a half miles yesterday. So got my weight down to 230 pounds, and I'm managing that. I'm healthier than I've ever been in my life. It's things like that that I think that we all need to focus on. Focus on what you have control over. I can't control what's happening in DC. I can't control who lives and dies. While those things bother me, they can't be my focus. And that's why I got off social media. That's why I deleted my personal page, because um, I found myself going into those rabbit holes and sinking into the negatives. And I don't like to live that way because that negative shit is so heavy. Fuck that. I don't want to carry that shit around with me every day. I don't want to be that scowling face person anytime I go somewhere and he's like, yeah, he looks like 2020. Nah, fuck that. I'm not letting 2020 win.
That's real, man. So for me in 2017, I started mentally creating like Clyde's vision board for the year, but I
Mhm.
never really wrote shit down. I would just kind of like put it out there. And then 5 months later, 6 months later, I'm like, oh shit, I did accomplish that. So it wasn't until this year
Mhm.
that I actually was like, you know what? I'm going to my notepad in my phone and I'm gonna write the shit down and put like the check mark spot next to it so I can check it off when it happens. And so when I look back at 2020, in the last month, these were my goals for the year. It was meet a certain financial savings goal,
Mhm.
pay off all of my credit card debt, finish at least 6 to 8 classes for my master's degree, begin development of my second book, release my first book, and register an LLC for my properties that I want to work in. And out of all 6 of those things, they all have a check by them. Okay.
There you go.
So why do I say that? I say that to say, in the midst of all this shit, right, I already had a plan for the year.
Right.
So yeah, I could not, predict that we were going to go through everything that we went through. I could not predict initially when I did this that I was going to deploy, because that was something else that happened, kind of like a fluke. I found out basically this time last year. It was just like boom. So those things were not really registering for anybody, and yet I still had goals and I still accomplished them all. And it was big for me, because a lot of times at the end of the year, it goes by so fast, especially as you get older and you watch your kids grow, that you don't even realize, like, what did I do this year? Did I do anything? Did I accomplish anything?
Yeah.
Other than just going to work and paying bills and make sure I keep a roof over my head. And a lot of us live on that hamster wheel.
It's
so
easy.
I would just charge people going forward in 21, create your own big board, vision board, whatever you want to call it. Jot down 4 or 5 things that you honestly believe that you can achieve. I always say goals got to be measurable and it got to be achievable.
Yeah.
You're not going to be president next year if you never even ran for office in any, if you're not a mayor or nothing like that. So
get involved with something.
Make it realistic.
And
I think it's something that I feel like that's important. Because when shit is ugly like 2020, you can still grab some positivity out of it.
And those things can be your focus.
Yeah.
Those goals can be your focus, instead of you focusing or any listener, anybody focusing on social media and the negative that creeps in to all of our lives. That's the easiest thing. Negativity is all around us.
Yeah.
But you got to find the positives in your day. You got to find the positives in the things that you do. Not everything's going to work out the way that you want it to. You know what? Just shrug your shoulders and move on. You can't. What is it? What's the saying? You can't count the shots. Was it the saying about shots?
Oh,
if you're not taking any shots,
yeah, you'll never make the shots you don't take.
Right.
Like
you never make the shots you don't take. So look, every day that you live, challenge yourself.
Yeah.
And every goal that you listed was a challenge.
True.
Every goal everything that I try to do in some small way, small or large, is a challenge.
Yep.
I did 31 miles yesterday just because.
Yep.
Let me see if I can do it. And like I did it. And once you start, from my perspective, once you start checking off these little challenges and you realize that the only thing that limits you is you, the opportunities are endless.
Yeah, that's real, man. And like one thing that I didn't write on there that just kind of happened throughout the year was I started reading more.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there thinking like, well, if I write a book and I expect people or want people to read it, then who am I if I'm not reading something myself, right?
Yeah.
So that's been the challenge, like, constantly read a book every 3 months. I give myself, and that's a long time, because that will be only 4 books a month.
Well, it's going to take you. It's going to take you 3 months to read Obama's 706-page book.
Yeah. So, but that's something I plan to continue on.
Yeah.
And just keep building my library, so to speak, my knowledge base. But as I make my 21 vision board, I have 2020 to look back on as, hey, look, I accomplished all that. Yeah. And it was an amazing feeling to see me pay my last credit card bill. It's like, damn, that should say 0. And I met the savings goal I had for myself. I was like, damn, that happened. And everything else is down the list, man. Yeah. So, we have been pushing this all year, and I'm going to keep pushing it. Memoirs from Within, that was my book. P, your book was, was it called?
Our Life with ALS.
Yes, there you go. And that's your journey with Mama P and her ALS battle. So please go out there and support if you can. Amazon, Apple, and I'm everywhere. Shit. Kindle, you can download it and read it digital. It's also an audio book. So yeah, just go out there and support if you can.
You did it. You did it big this year. You did.
I appreciate that, man.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you, man.
We've always tried to challenge each other in every way possible. I know in our private group we challenge each other because we're usually the two on two opposite ends of the spectrum. You are always on the opposite end of the spectrum of everybody, but
right.
They may disagree with you, but I like to challenge you because
you do.
There's a conversation involved in that. There's thought provocation in that, and that's what drives what we're doing now.
Very true.
And I never have plotted out. Okay, these are the things I want to do for the year. A vision board per se. I'm gonna do that now, thanks to you.
Yeah, man, it's key, man. So, go ahead and make those vision boards, and shock yourself. Stick to them. We all want something to aim for, right? No matter how old we are, we always want to keep challenging ourselves, like Pete said. So I would advise you, study yourself, learn about yourself, and then make the goals that you know that you can achieve, and then watch yourself achieve them. So that's the Ask the Doctor this week, finding some positivity in this very ugly, tumultuous 2020. Now we're gonna get into some controversy.
Man.
So let me get
cue it up.
Let me get this together real quick. Okay, so get this off there. All right, so let me go ahead and cue this up. Sorry, people. Got to get my life in order. I thought I had it all jazzed up, but
it's all right. So,
okay, here we go. I got it squared away. So let me get. I'm gonna kill this. I'm gonna bring you down a little bit, P. You're not going to just brought you down a little bit.
Okay.
I honestly want a six-figure guy. Is what I'm realizing.
And ma'am, and that's my point. You ladies all feel like you ladies all feel like you're the exception to the rule. And then when someone like myself comes along and gives you a dose of reality, instead of just accepting it, it's like, yeah, but I'm special. You don't know any men on this level that are not your father, that aren't related to you. That means you don't know these men. You don't know where to go get them. You don't know what they want. But you're still saying, pick me. They don't want mid 30-year-old baby mamas. I'm trying to be polite, man, but they don't want those.
Can I ask you a question?
So what you just heard, that is Kevin Samuels. And Kevin Samuels is basically a self-made guy. He does what is it? Consulting and image creation for men. He has his own company where he sells clothing, and he basically teaches men how to be that. I don't want to use something corny, but like teaches you how to be your best you, best dressed, best approach, the way to carry yourself a certain way. So he has a lot of ventures. He's an entrepreneur at heart. But he's been starting to get a lot more, I guess, smoke because he's starting to like, these type of videos are starting to appear of him giving his humble and honest opinion toward male callers and female callers.
Yeah.
And so this week's show is entitled "Perspective Beyond Yourself." Because we've discussed this in different avenues over the 3 years. And Marcus put me on this guy, Kevin Samuels, probably like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I just didn't have a chance to go do my own research. And then that actually surfaced a few days ago, and I sent it to you. So that's kind of how I got on the Kevin Samuels, like, okay, who is he? What is he talking about? But basically what it's about is we all get to this point in life, male and female. Whether you've been in a relationship and it didn't work out due to divorce or whatever, or you just moved on, and we all have this perspective, right, of what we think we want out of that next person. And sometimes it can be very materialistic, very superficial.
Yes.
So like she said, I want somebody that's, six figures. If you continue to go on, talk about other likes of the person that you want, height, the way he looks, carries himself, yada yada yada. And we all do this in our own way. However, the question becomes, and this is a true question, right? Like, am I the person that actually can, I guess, what word do you want to use? Allure.
Am I the person that I perceive myself to be?
Yeah, like, and I feel like that's a very important conversation we should be having, because it's like we always say, don't try to keep up with the Joneses, right? Like if you can't afford the BMW or the Mercedes Benz or whatever that they have in their driveway, don't put pressure on yourself to try to match them equally.
Yeah.
Well, what defines your happiness? Six figures, tall, black and handsome, athletic build, no kids, no baby mama drama. Like, is that realistic for who you are if you don't present, that same equality? And I think in this interview, he's breaking this lady down.
Man, yeah, he does. He
and
does.
The comments that are coming from this afterward, from everybody who's watching it is saying, well, he's fucking rude. He's very fucking like immature to be able to talk to somebody like that. She got shit going for herself. It shouldn't matter that she has a child and this, that, and it shouldn't matter what her business is, blah, 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 blah. But he telling her, at your best, ma'am, you're average. Now, that couldn't be looked at as superficial.
And no. And that's based on her telling him.
Yeah.
She sees herself as a 5, a 6 when she's made up. She sees herself as average.
True. So that's key. That's a key point. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
And so as the conversation evolves, it kind of gets, it kind of gets muddied, because he finds that she's not really paying attention. She's not really taking him serious. And he's like, well, you called into my show and you had these questions.
Yeah.
And I'm basically sick and tired of this type of reaction when you get told certain things, because in all honesty, we live in a very superficial world, do we not?
Oh, yes, we do.
And in that world, both males and females, and this is fucking unfortunate, but we have in our own way created, I think, a mindset of how we get to what it is we want. So for males, if you got money, that basically puts you in the conversation to be who you want to be, regardless of how you look, regardless of your background. If you got money, you can be at the table. And a lot of time for females, and this is not to say they can't make their own money, because damn sure they do, but they have conditioned themselves to use themselves, their body, their look, carry themselves a certain way that will attract the man that they want. And then that gets them to the table. And it's like this respect/non-respect thing for each other.
And I think it goes into the whole, Princess and Prince Charming dynamic. The princess, really, she didn't have anything but beauty. Prince Charming, he has a kingdom, the beautiful horse, the everything, the stature, he's a knight, all these things.
Yes.
So if this is the narrative that women have been sold throughout their entire existence, they feel the need that they feel empowered enough to demand that and have nothing of equal value to match what she's demanding. Is that fair? No, it's not fair. It's not fair. At least in my opinion, it's not. Now, it's a 5-minute video, and I agree totally with him. She took him, in my opinion, to the point where he had to get harder and harder about the truth.
Okay.
She wasn't listening. She points out the fact that she's 5'5". She, on her best day, she's a 6.
Mm-hmm.
And if you view yourself, if you're realistic enough to view yourself along the lines of, okay, I'm about average, and he even asked her a question, how do you look when you take the makeup and the hair and all this stuff off? If you have to go through through all of that to add value to who you are, that defines superficial. How can you demand more from somebody when you have less to offer? You know, and as a single man, what's wrong with a single man who has his life together having expectations for himself and for the person that he wants to have in his life? She wants somebody to make six figures, and for that guy to overlook that she has a 13-year-old son and a suspect baby daddy. So let's be realistic here. Anytime that you invite somebody into your life, you invite every problem and issue that they have into your life. Can we agree?
I do agree.
Those baby daddy problems that she's dealing with, they become his problems because they're on his doorstep. Whoever this guy is that makes six figures. Is that fair to him? Should he have to deal with that? I say no.
And so I guess it then becomes this though. And I don't even know how to, formulate what I'm trying to say, but it's like when you become so particular, as if I was buying a vehicle, right? Like I get to pick the color of the interior, the color of the exterior, the type of wheel package, the type of sound package. And so when you break down individuals in that type of categorization, I guess, you run the risk of putting yourself in a place where, like you now say, you might not even be equal yourself. Yeah. But then you can't expect certain things to be overlooked. For me, I look at it this way, right? Like success is how you define it, right? So I don't have a dollar value behind, like if I wasn't married or if, I was to not be with my wife anymore and we were starting over, it wouldn't be like, well, T made this much money, so the next woman got to make that type of money. Like I feel like I'm already shooting for the wrong idea. Yeah. What kind of characteristics inside of that person are you looking for? Like how do they actually match with who you are as a person? Because the money can come, the looks can come, the clout, so to speak, can come, but then that person is coarse, they're raw, they don't have, that gravitational pull of a natural feeling relationship, because it's only about the things that they brought to the table. So what has six figures got to do with anything? If you're an asshole to me, and I feel like we overlook that shit because our success has been defined by somebody else.
It's not defined by being a good person. It's not defined by being a compassionate person. It's not defined by being a caring, loving person, a nurturing person. It's not defined by that. It's defined by what you have, what you do, what you bring in, how you look.
So our fucking comments are jumping between Will, Clink, Donna. They're jumping and they're going back and forth, and this is what we want. And Clink, something just popped up. He was like, maybe, or no, Donna says maybe she's worth it. But see, that's my thing. Like, and it's not to pick on you, Donna, but it's more so like, how do you define that you are worth a man that's worth $100 or not $100, but $100,000 a year?
Right.
That's not something that you should be valuing yourself in any kind of way.
Are you a good person? And are you a good person? And are you deserving of a good person?
Yeah, that part. But there's no way for you to define like how you can say somebody is worth $100,000. I'm worth that.
Right.
Like, because if you feel that way, are you making $100,000 yourself?
Right. If the scale is not even, it's not worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. And here's one from Will. Everybody, can you see these when I'm
looking at them right now. Will's spot on.
Everyone wants a relationship to be defined by materialistic bullshit, and it's bullshit. And that's key. And so when you break a person down, like, I want him to be 6 foot tall. I want him to have the athletic build. I don't want him to have no kids. I don't want him to have any like prior relationship, like Klingon girlfriends. All this other shit.
I liken that shit to.
You don't want him to have a life. He didn't have a life.
These are your hostage demands. No, you can't live a life based on those. Those may be your desires, but that's not realistic.
Here's a big one by Will. And so with Kevin Samuels, You know, he's he has some other videos that I just watched some clips of, and he's actually breaking men down, and he's asking them very specific questions too. And it gets kind of, some of that stuff gets pretty deep and pretty personal too. And it's like,
Yeah.
when you look at yourself, are you actually looking at yourself in a way that allows constructive criticism?
See, and you know
And I
what?
don't think we are.
This
A
goes
lot
back
of us
to
don't.
show one. This goes back to show one, season one. Tell me
Damn,
one
man.
thing you don't like about yourself.
That's true.
Remember that question?
Yeah, I remember it.
Until people really reflect and look at themselves with a very, very critical look, and they can understand, these are my faults. These are the things that make me that I don't like about myself. If I don't like these things, how can I expect somebody else to like them? But they are who I am, you know. But until people take that critical look and accept that there are some things that are shitty about themselves, and they may not be able to change them, but you work to not let these things define who you are. Until we do that, we can't offer our best selves to somebody.
Man, that's true. And I look at what Clink said on this particular one. If I get a woman who's making 100K, I wouldn't care. I have my own 60K I deal with. I don't want no one to carry me. Now, why is that important? Because I feel like the word that's not used in that description of I want somebody making 6 figures is actually, I want someone to compliment me.
Right.
So I feel like that's a much clearer, much cleaner version of putting a dollar amount. Because if I'm making 65K and a person that I end up being with is making 65K, she compliments me.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. And so we can throw the numbers however we want to throw the numbers, but as long as we compliment each other, because it's like, as you mentioned earlier, you know, can you look, when I do my monthly, right? Here's what I pay. Here's my comfort lifestyle. Here's the way I live my life.
Yeah.
This is me alone. But when I add you to the equation, if all of a sudden my comfort has been, I guess,
been made uncomfortable.
disturbed,
If it's been disturbed, hey,
now I'm putting out money for things that I didn't used to put out money for. I've, you know,
in this woman's case,
all this debt,
13-year-old kid
that I didn't. Right. These are things that we really have to talk about, because those things are not to just be overlooked. If you are not okay with that as an individual.
They are, whether they're right or wrong. Let's put this out there first. This is my opinion. Whether they're right or wrong is not a discussion. It's not. That's not this discussion. It's the reality of things. Okay, we're taking her situation as it is on face value. Suspect baby daddy and a 13-year-old son. Okay, and like I said, if you take on her, you take on those things. You know, are you willing to take that on? That's the question that anybody's got to ask, man or woman. If you got, if Donna, in this case, if you meet some guy and he's got a suspect baby mama and he's got a 12, 13-year-old son or daughter, are you willing to take on those problems? That's the question that has to be asked. And you have to be honest.
Very true. And this is what Will just said. The goal and objective is to be completely naked with one another in a relationship. And he's not talking about being nude. He's talking about
completely transparent. Completely transparent. Honest. I mean, even the ugly honesty has to be revealed.
Absolutely. And I feel like we start to then define our own, you know, immature or unvaluable characteristics, because if I find myself to be materialistic, superficial, and I didn't define myself as that earlier, something like this conversation, though it could be constructive and very critical, opens my eyes. Well, it seems to me like you only want a badass chick with a big old ass and a certain look, and she got X amount of money. She ain't never had sex before. Like all these unreasonable reasons.
Very, very unreasonable.
Very unreasonable. And it's like, that's not who you're going to find, because people live lives. And when you live a life, you're going to have baggage. Damn,
30, 35, 40.
Baggage from you means baggage from me.
you are going to have a past.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a past.
I feel like this man is like absolutely connected with what I'm saying. Every time I say something, he's saying like, what's that? Well, baggage from you means baggage from me.
Will, spot on today.
Spot
on.
Oh my
God.
Well, real shit.
Yeah, like, that's real. That's true.
Yeah, we live lives, man. And so in this world, and I'm so thankful that I don't have to go out here and navigate, you know, the world of dating. So thankful
Yeah.
because I wouldn't know how to like even start. Like it's changed too much for me. And social media and the technology as a whole, like they've made it so simplistic. Like you can get on dating apps, create a profile, and send that shit out to the world and have people
Yeah.
like basically trying to court you in minutes.
Yeah.
There ain't nothing natural about that. I'm not
Nothing.
knocking anybody who uses
Because
it.
that's not real life. You
Yeah,
know,
that's definitely not natural for me.
you meet somebody on a face-to-face basis, what, once, twice a week, maybe. You know, back in the day before social media, exchange numbers and you communicate back and forth, and you might meet, whatever, go from there. But
Right.
with technology, that's gone because it's rife with problems because it's about quality, it's about quantity at that point. It's quantity. You know, you get inundated with swipes and date requests and all this other shit. Like, I don't have to invest time to find out who the fuck Clyde Oliver is because I got Will, Stewart, Clink,
Yeah.
and all these other motherfuckers that are trying to court me. So I'm gonna feel out all of them.
Yep.
And then in the process of trying to feel out all of them, you miss the one that matters.
You missed the one that matters, and that's what I said. Like, again, it's no knock to anybody who uses those, or anybody who's found their significant other on those. Please don't think it's coming that way. But for me, you know, sometimes though I don't always say it, I am older than what I truly, I guess, put out there. I'm old school in this. Like, I need to be able, I need to feel the quote unquote butterflies. I need to learn how to talk to you. I don't want to do it all blindly through technology, and then everything that I need to figure out has already been figured out because I can just read your profile. And so now it's just more so like, yeah, meet this person and try not to fuck it up, because if I do it right, I might sleep with her tonight. Like,
right. It feeds into all of the negative and bad stereotypes that, especially from a male perspective, it feeds into all of these things.
Oh,
all right,
hell yeah, it does.
I put this representative up front. If I hit them skins, and I'm out. I'm on to the next
representative.
One.
Damn,
you
I
know,
forget
and
about him.
that's a detriment to us because we don't grow, we don't learn about ourselves, and we don't really take in the full experience of meeting somebody. And in regards to having these, our self view, our perspective of ourselves, you have to be realistic. All right, I'm not looking for, as somebody that's single, I'm not looking for somebody that's, oh, she got to have 6 figures. She got to have this. She got to have that. I know what I don't want. I don't want somebody else's problems. I don't. All right. I don't care how fine you are. I don't care how much money you are. How much money you make. I don't want somebody else's problems. Okay. Because mine is a very quiet, uneventful life, and I like it that way. I want somebody who's going to challenge me. I mean, make me better. Challenge me to be better. You know, it's not about money. It's not about any of those things. I want you to challenge. Hey, you want to go to law school? I'm there to support you to go to law school. I want to see you excel. And I give the same back to that person. I want personal and emotional and mental growth. I don't give a fuck about your wallet.
Yeah, see, but that comes with maturity, that comes with life experience, that comes with being able to say, you know what, I've made my own way. And whatever else that you want to throw into that equation, but something gets you to that point where you're no longer looking for the surface, surface item.
Superficial bullshit.
Yeah. And I feel like whether you're with an individual and been with an individual forever, or you're just starting dating, like you can continuously improve on those things inside of you.
Yeah.
So as I work on marriage and work on things and continue to try to build, it's like, how am I learning in new ways to compliment my significant other, and how do I want her to continuously compliment me? Because we already know all of the other shit. I know what she makes. She know what I make.
It's an evolution. It's
she got my kids. I got her kids. Like
you grow together.
Yeah,
and that's the goal.
That's true. And
that's the goal.
So to go back to what Kevin was saying, because I think a lot of shit will get misconstrued just because he was very thorough, very direct. No sugarcoat, no bullshit. And listen to some of his other shit when he's actually evaluating guys that call in. This is not just one-sided. But anywho, to go back to what he was saying, You know, it's just like we got to level ourselves. We always talking about leveling up, and you hear that term being, oh, I got to level up. I got to do this. I got to do that. In reality, what we got to do is we got to understand who we are, what we bring to the table, and what is a true compliment for me. Now, you can break that down in a number of different ways. You could talk about like superficial. Well, I'm only a 5. I'm only a 6. So I shouldn't expect, Holly Berry to be who I'm going to be with, or some shit like that.
Right.
Or it might be like, well, shit, hey, I'm just trying to figure some shit out. I've been divorced a couple times. I need somebody that understands that I'm coming with baggage.
Right.
I need somebody that understands that I got shit that I'm still working on, but I still feel that I deserve somebody.
Yeah.
Or it could be, shit, I'm somebody who's been job in, job out, job in, job out. I don't have a career. I haven't, made it to a point where I'm like, look, for the last 5 years, I've averaged 85, 90K a year. That might not be who I am. I'm just trying to fucking make it, but I'm still a good person. We got to be realistic and not want people to save us. I think in a way,
yes,
this woman was talking about, in a way, though she made her own and she got some other shit, she was looking to be saved a little bit. Somebody come and take on her responsibilities, make her life easier.
That's that Prince Charming thing.
Yeah,
I think when we endeavor into these things, the focus can't be on, I make this is how I look, all these things. It can't be.
I had to give you that one.
Will. I really think we focus on the wrong things, man. What kind of person are you?
Right.
Because when you meet somebody, you're not walking around with your pay stub on your chest.
Right.
You're not sitting down for that first conversation. Yo, here's proof I make 6 figures.
Yeah.
It's not a fucking job interview.
Exactly.
It's about what kind of person you are, and that's revealed over time. Yep. Through actions. You can speak on it all you want. Bonus. Yeah, everything else.
You do make bonus. 6 figures.
Now, awesome. That's not to say that we that doesn't. All of the things that we present should cause a person to overlook our past. Our past and the things that we have in the peripheral have to be considered when we meet somebody. Okay, yeah, you do have a 13-year-old son. How's that shit working out with the father? Because if this thing progresses, I need to know what I'm dealing with in regards to him. Is he financially supporting his child, etc.? These things, they matter.
And go one step further. I go one step further. What are your expectations of me? Because here's the realism. We both need to understand, if I don't want children because I have not put that out there and I do not have my own, if I'm walking into the door with a 13-year-old, at some point you're going to expect certain things out of me. But if I'm not in that
13-year-old, yeah.
And if I'm not in that mindset of something that I'm willing to do, because hey, like shit, I'm not willing to do that for whatever reason. I can't think of one off the top of my head. Yeah. That is true. And you shouldn't levy that or put that on that person like, oh, well, he understands that I have a child. And so therefore he needs to find a way to connect with him.
Yeah.
Well, I'm only trying to connect with you.
And that shouldn't be something that you use as, as a woman should use as, oh, he ain't shit because I got a kid. No, you got to respect the fact that he's not a father.
Yeah. I'm not a father figure. I don't want to be a father figure. And so therefore,
anymore than these single women that don't want to deal with dudes with kids. The same thing. You can't have a double standard. You cannot have a double standard.
Ooh, that's true. Because that often throws off a lot of shit. Good guy, good dude, take care
of his kids. I don't want to have no kids. He got kids. I don't want to have nothing to do with him. I don't want to. I ain't trying to raise his babies.
Yeah. And so
he probably didn't ask you to do that shit. Don't set the double standard.
So these things are wild, and I don't even want to say this because it's going to sound kind of cruel, but then you posted that other video when he's talking about pussy management, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the truth in that is like what girl was saying on that was, when you are out here and he's expecting to be able to, come to your spot and do whatever, and y'all lay up and have sex or whatever, but he's not helping you with your situation. Then Buddy comes in and it's like, well, that sounds like mental management versus pussy management.
Yeah.
Because those issues that you have, you shouldn't think that that's being debited by your it doesn't work that way.
You know what? I gotta say that it's fucked up.
You gotta post both of these videos. I'm gonna post both of these.
Women think that that's the prize.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
That's fucked up because your shit gets no pleasure alone any more than a man gets pleasure alone. All right, that's a mutual endeavor.
Yeah,
you know, and if you view your prize, if you view your pussy as, well, I'm gonna use this to get this motherfucker, that shit ain't no tool.
That's where it becomes kind of scary, right there, because we live in that world where we know that is the truth. I mean, you can look at pimps and
it's a mutual motherfucking endeavor.
Yeah,
and more often than not, I'll be crude and crass about this. The man's doing most of the fucking work.
Well, I mean,
I know my case. That's where the effort's coming from. So look, women, Donna, tell your girls, stop using this shit like it's a tool, because it's not.
It's not a tool, and that's where it gets muddy. It gets muddy because there's expectations that come with that. Well, I did this and I gave you some of that.
Well, shit. If that's the case, I gave you some dick, so this is what I expect.
I mean, I don't know, man. Like,
it can work both ways. I mean,
yeah,
you know, I think that the message gets twisted because we have to pursue. We're expected to pursue, right?
True. Men are we are expected to pursue it. Absolutely.
And that's where the message, he want to get some of this, so I'm gonna make his ass work for it. You know what? You're getting some pleasure out of that shit too. I mean, I hope you are, but you have to, you can't, whatever. You do you, Donna. You do you.
Everybody clowning today.
It's Saturday, man.
Up in the booth today.
So this is on my mind, listeners. Everybody that chimed in, that's here with us live. Thank you. Saturdays will be our designated times now. Saturdays.
Yeah, StreamYard is a motherfucker. I love this thing.
Yeah.
But as we get ready to close the show out, because this is a good one, man. You know, I think we have to just to take from this whole thing, right? That video was very eye-opening and catching, and a lot of people, because we do live in the type of society where we can't wait to criticize, will only look at the negative aspect, meaning the way he was speaking and the way he might have been talking at that woman. When in actuality, you know, there's more to it than that. I don't know the man to defend him. He said what he said. But it was his show. She called in, she asked her questions. I don't think that he was rude from the jump, but I felt like over time, as it progressed, it did get a little bit. But there was some truth that needed to be addressed. And he, just like Steve Harvey, he's not end all be all. So we're not going to sit here and say he speaks for every man. However, it was his show. So in that right, you called and asked him, and he gave you what he felt.
So I'll pose this question to you, and everybody that's so far that's in here is a parent. How many times you told your kid, take out the trash or do the dishes?
Oh shit! I tell you, said it every day, every goddamn day.
And if it takes you 5 times, the tone changes from 1 to 5.
True.
How many times in that 5-minute video did he tell her the same thing over and over and over again?
Multiple.
Okay. She walked him into, he was direct, to crass. She walked him there.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I'm not judging her. I'm not saying what she may or may not deserve or what she should be looking at because of who she is and all this other shit. That's not who I am as a person. But what I can say is her direct mindset of, I feel like I want somebody that's based on a dollar amount. I don't agree with that.
I don't agree with that either.
And
I mean, if that's how you
and that gets you into where you ended up.
You
because
get what you deserve.
yeah,
That's how you present yourself. I don't know. This is what I know about her. I know that she owns a pet grooming business. She's got a 13-year-old son, a deadbeat baby daddy, suspect baby daddy, and she
wants $100,000 man.
Right. That's all I know about her. I don't know what kind of heart she has. I don't know what kind of brain she has. I don't know what kind of mind she has. I don't know any of the shit that matters.
Yeah.
But if you sell yourself, if you advertise yourself in the most superficial way, don't be disappointed when you get bullshit in return.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate that we have to, like, there's professionals, and I'm gonna get ready to get off of it after this, but there's professionals who are professionals for the professional athletes in the world and entertainers that teach them how to not put themselves in precarious situations. That's sad that I got to pay somebody to protect me from being quote unquote a normal human, because there's vultures out there.
Mhm.
They are people, both male and female, who will throw themselves at you, give you the things that you think you want, so that you give them something that they can gravitate to, hold on to, and then they can leech you for the rest of your life.
Mhm.
And we talked about that with the woman that had a baby by Blake Griffin and several other players, and how much she was asking for and getting per month.
And Blake Griffin.
And all she had to do was lay down
Yeah.
and give them in that moment what they wanted.
She used the tool.
She used the tool. And that does not speak for every woman. That does not speak for every man or every situation. But I'm telling you, it's easier in this world today to live that way, where you don't have to worry about nothing because you put yourself in the right position, so to speak. I mean, we take Dr. Dre's wife. She put in 28 years. Okay. In my opinion, she deserves fucking something.
Yeah,
but at the end of the day, her fucking want list was absolutely asinine.
Right.
And it's starting to get chopped up. She's not winning these, as she once thought, easy battles to get this and to get that, and a laundry list. I expect to get X amount of money a month for this. What the fuck? Like, what? No. You're using another person, and you don't want to be called on it.
It's like the budget, man. Every year that you do your budget, you ask for everything and you get some.
Yeah. Christmas list, right?
Yeah, that's really what it is.
You're not getting everything on your Christmas list. There's just a few items you'll get. You can't get every fucking thing.
So as I think about this, just to go back to the woman that had Matt Leiter and Blake Griffin's kid, if that was your plan, is to use your tool to get what you wanted from these two men, the result was you have two kids that you have to take care of. Sure, you might have, child support payments coming in that are astronomical. But guess what? You're living a very superficial life and you're empty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, at the end of the day, man, I'll just say it like this, right? Like, ask for those things in that person. Now, again, we all have likes, right? I tend to like a, lighter skinned, lighter complected Black woman. That's kind of my like. We all have those. I'm not telling you it's wrong to have that. We can't help that.
Right.
But it's at the same time, I can't also say like, well, I shouldn't say, I won't say what I can't, but what I shouldn't say is, I want the woman who, only wears Louis, and she, she has 150,000, she has her own business, and all that other shit might be great. But if that's what I'm shooting for, I want that for a reason. What is the reason?
Right.
What is the reason?
Yeah.
There has to be a reason that I put that number on that person. It has to be a reason.
Man, you better give me a woman that don't even mind going to Walmart to shop.
Yeah.
Because guess what? As fast as it comes, it can go just as fast.
Exactly.
Hold me up when I'm down, and I got you when you down.
If we compliment each other, and you want to be an independent woman, like, men have to understand that too. I know I'm not a woman, but I understand, because I live with a very independent woman. We got to understand what that means. That doesn't always just mean like she's able to pay for this and pay for that. That independence is she doesn't want to have to depend on you for the things that she knows she can do herself. Right.
Yeah.
Then you can start to add to what that list is. Paying her bills or fucking whatever.
Yeah.
We have to define that. And we only can define that once we are with that person and they help us to define what it means to them. Then we can know what that means. Don't try to speak for people. Like, sometimes we can do that too much, and when we start speaking for people and telling them what we think they want to hear, or telling them what we think they want, or what we think is best for them, everything goes fucking south. And so I think those are the things that we need to work on, versus saying like, hey, I just want this. You want somebody to compliment you, fair, but that compliment better be much more in depth than just, well, I make 90, she make 90, we good. Nah.
So what happens when COVID hits and you both get laid out?
Yeah. Now what do we now how do we stay in the house with each other?
You don't have your 90.
Yeah.
And looking at you like,
yeah, we're not eating fucking Ruth Chris once a week.
Right.
You know, we're not on a fucking, quick turn and burn to Aruba and Cancun once a month. Like, see, that's just out the window.
Man, life is far too fluid to let your desires be defined by superficial shit. You know, as they say, I want somebody who's next to me, who's fighting with me in the mud. You know?
Yeah.
Not standing over, oh, that's dirty, I'm good. Nah, I want you down here with me. That's what I want in a partner. I don't want somebody that's, oh, your money changed, so I gotta go. Well, you're not really with me for the right reasons in the first place.
You see that shit too many times depicted in movies and shit like that. So
oh man, oh my god, I gotta tell you this one. Brand new, my very first base, man. His brother was a tech sergeant. His wife worked at the bank. Beautiful wife, just a beautiful couple. They didn't have kids, nothing, right? You would see them at the club together. They were always together. Fast forward, I'm in Italy. This is like 8, 9, 10 years later, right? I'm TDY somewhere. I'm about to get on a plane, and I see him. He's then a senior master sergeant. I'm staff sergeant, whatever. And I'm like, yo, what's up? How's everything going? You know, we had time in the MAC terminal to catch up. So how's the wife? He was like, excuse my French, fuck that bitch. She finished her degree and she left me.
Damn.
Yeah. She was only with that motherfucker finish school. Never had kids. He was like, she never wanted to have kids. I wanted to have kids. We didn't have kids. So she got what she wanted and she left.
Again, that's not every story, but that's a lot of stories.
Yeah.
Male and female. And I take it kind of personal, the lifestyle that they live. I take it kind of personal, man. When you see a man, and I can't remember who this was, it just popped up not too long ago. There was a man that was like, he was married to somebody that was famous, had some money, and he was the one like asking for like spousal support and all that. I was like, bro, what the don't get me wrong. It's fair is fair, right? So if a woman can ask for spousal support, I guess a man can too.
Yeah.
But something inside me says that's bullshit. Like, don't live off of somebody else's fucking back, man. You're a fucking man. Get out there, do whatever. Now, if you are due something, then by all means get your fucking due.
Yeah.
But to have this fucking, again, this Christmas list of wants from this woman because y'all not together no more, that's just weak as fuck to me. That's just so goddamn weak to me. Okay, Clink said it was Mary J. husband. It might have been. I don't know who the fuck it was, but I read that shit and it was like, I was like, what the fuck is this, bro? Like, for real?
Yeah.
God damn, that's just so weak. It's just so weak to me. But now here I am being judgmental, CO. But
if you're the guy,
man,
like, the guy in the marriage, if you're the person in the marriage, she's out there.
Fucking man, dude. Like,
and you're raising kids and homebodying and all of these things.
Everybody just wants that ride sometimes. Just get that free ride. And I ain't never got to do shit for the rest of my life.
Get up,
put in no work.
Go get off your ass, go get a job. Go do what you do.
Maybe that's why Stedman, don't get me wrong, he's fucking got his own bread, but maybe that's why I ain't never got married. Because Oprah like, fuck
Oprah like, nah, I got too much of this shit, man.
Yeah. We too old to have kids and all that other shit, so we ain't faking that shit.
What are we doing this for? No, I'm good.
You just compliment me. You make me happy.
Right.
Anyway, man. We overtime. We trying to stick to an hour. CO and Doctor, we overtime, man. I appreciate Will. I appreciate Clink. I appreciate Donna. I was hoping that this new platform with the comment section would allow this type of fucking intervention, or not intervention. Look at me. Interaction. I maybe CO need a damn intervention. But yeah, this type of interaction. We appreciate y'all. Keep that up, man.
Yeah.
And as we go into the new year and we start to plot shows and all that other shit, you guys will definitely be in mind to come on to the show and talk about things. But yeah, man, this was a great one, man. I appreciate you, P. It's been a few weeks, so it seemed like we got to start over every time because it's always a few weeks. The Saturday seems to be the new day. I think that works for both our schedules.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, man. So shit, that's all I got, P. You got any closing remarks?
That's all I got. Will Clink Donna. Thank you guys. Tell your friends. Bring somebody with you next weekend. We're still building next week's show, so we'll have something good for you. Another great discussion. And this new platform is working out perfect.
That's what it is, man. So that's it, man. I'm CO.
And I'm the Doc.
All right, man. Y'all take it light. Y'all have a good one.
Have a good one.